All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. First of all, welcome. It is with great excitement that we virtually welcome everyone to our inauguration ceremony of our new 16 classroom building that is being funded through the Measure V bond. Before we get started, I'd like to start off with our flag salute and have Gregory Flores lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Right hand over heart. Ready?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic from which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Gregory. First, I'd like to acknowledge some of the guests that are here present today. Our school board members in particular, I'd like to acknowledge Board President Richard Romero, Trustee Lorenzo Calderon, Trustee Enrique Alvarado, Trustee Michael Castillo, and also could not be here with us, but Trustee Ciro Calderon. Also, I'd like to recognize two of our students that are here today representing Calexico High School, Gregory Flores and Angel de Dios. Also, I'd like to recognize Measure V members, particularly Mr. Ben Horton, Vice Chairperson, and Ms. Belinda Alvarado, Member and Chair of Measure Q. Also, our Assistant Superintendents of Calexico Unified School District, of Business in particular, Mr. Cesar Vega. Assistant Superintendent of Educational Services, Ms. Elisa Ramirez. Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources, Dr. Brian Thurman. Calexico High School Principal, Ms. Gabrielle Williams. And all district administrators and site that is joining us today. Today is a great day as we celebrate the inauguration of our new 16 classroom building, also known as Project A2, that is being funded entirely through the Measure V bond. On December 3rd, 2019, we stood here before you in a groundbreaking ceremony for what we promised was going to be a 16 classroom building. If you recall back then, behind me stood the old Calexico High School parking lot. Today, October the 27th, 2020, 10 months later, we have delivered on that promise and now stands a beautiful new state-of-the-art 16 classroom building, which we are very excited to share with you and showcase via a personal virtual tour. We continue to make significant progress towards the completion of all projects funded through the Measure V bond. It is exciting to see Calexico High School enter another phase of modernization. Our students and staff will greatly benefit from this new 16 classroom building, which is fully equipped with modern furnishings, wiring, and technology equipment. The new 16 classroom building will be able to house 544 students. This project is a true testament of how working collaboratively with our community and our stakeholders, we can provide our students and community with great projects and bring them to fruition. We also want to acknowledge the most recent Measure V bond renovation projects that have been completed and are currently well under construction. Through the Measure V bond fund, we have been able to modernize the Wardfield parking lot, which was completed on October of 2018 and opened to all of our students and staff fully on August of 2019. It is a beautifully renovated project with a grand entrance and a very nicely landscaped and lighted walkway leading up to the school. Through the Measure V bond and funds, we have fully modernized the Culinary Arts building, which was completed in June of 2020. The Culinary Arts facility gives our students access to an incredible state-of-the-art facility, which is by far one of the best facilities in the state. This amazing facility will give our students an incredible access and excellent career opportunities for the future. It gives us great pleasure to also give you a live tour of our culinary arts facility today. We will now begin construction of a new 12-classroom building, which is going to be built directly in front of the newly renovated Circle Drive parking lot, known as Project A3. The new 12-classroom building is scheduled to be completed by July 30th, 2021, and it will complement the beautiful design of the completed 16-classroom building. This next project is also possible thanks to Measure V bond funds. Once again, we are excited to celebrate with you this inauguration ceremony for our 16-classroom building. This is a celebration for all of us to be proud of. We want to especially thank the community of Calexico for their trust in passing the Measure V bond, which is allowing us to bring these new construction projects and renovations to our facilities at Calexico High School. These projects will have a long-lasting positive impact on our students and our community. Thank you. Now to say a few words, we have our board president, Mr. Richard Romero.
Good morning. I would like to welcome the Calexico community, the CUSD Board Trustees, the Measure V Committee, members, parents, students, members of the media, and the CUSD staff to the inauguration of the Calexico High School 16-classroom building. 4 years ago, on November 8, 2016, voters approved the Measure V General Obligation Bond. The initial goal of the bond was to modernize Calexico High School, to replace existing facilities with modern classrooms, to improve the quality of learning environments and student support facilities, replace portable classrooms with new permanent facilities, and provide district-wide access to modern technology infrastructure. The modernization of Calexico High School might have seemed like a dream, but Measure V passed and things began to transform. Little by little, our community started to notice changes. First to the Workfield parking lot, then the construction in front of the site. Today we're happy to announce that we are very close to completing the majority of the initial projects promised to completion with Measure V funds. As a team, we have been documenting the construction process throughout, and we are now ready to showcase the collaboration of communal efforts via the solution tool. We look forward to continuing the Calexico High School improvement plans, and the future planning permits a set of new projects. Please take a moment to view the sketches as you enter the facilities. I would like to thank the community of Calexico, the Measure V's Citizens Bond Oversight Committee, Mr. Cesar Vega, CUSD Assistant Superintendent of Business Services, Mr. John Dominguez, and Ms. Kim Desser from School Science Solutions, Mr. Jimmy Sanders, architect, and the CUSD maintenance and operations staff as they work to get the job done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Romero. And now we will have Mr. Ben Horton, Vice Chairperson for Measure V Committee, say a few words.
Get myself together here. One thing that we have to look at, ladies and gentlemen, is working as a team. There's a phrase that I have heard many times over. It takes a village to raise a child. And the village is Calexico. The residents got together and voted 75% for the Measure V. They trusted us to do what they voted for, and we have done, and we went beyond what we said we would do. One thing I gotta say is that the staff has put themselves together to do a remarkable job. They brought together a great architect, a great team to build it, and here we are. But it didn't stop there. We still got a little bit more to go forward with. And one thing I'm gonna say is, hurrah, hurrah for a job well done. Hurrah to move forward. And with that, I will turn it over to the superintendent to continue with that. Hurrah.
Thank you, Mr. Van Hort. Now we will have Ms. Gabrielle Williams Ballesteros, Calexico High School Principal, say a few words.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. On behalf of our students and our teachers, I want to thank the community for supporting measures that are put up front and allow us to bring and renovate our school, which is very much in need. On behalf of our students again and our staff, thank you to the community of Calexico. Thank you to the district, to everyone who has been involved in this project, from our architects, our project managers. I want to thank you on my behalf for keeping me informed every single week of every decision, choosing flooring, choosing furniture. Our teachers as well for being involved in this project. So a huge thank you. We're very grateful. This is amazing. We can't wait to see our students walking down these halls. These 16 classrooms will host 16 English teachers. All of our entire English department who already does an amazing job in teaching our students, and they get amazing scores. I can't wait for them to provide instruction from this facility, as I know that it will inspire them to do even more than what they already do. They already go above and beyond, but it is inspiring, it is exciting to walk down these halls and into these classrooms. It is a new source of excitement. So I know that our students are going to be very motivated. Some of them already said, now I want to be a writer, I want to be an author, I want to be a poet. They're not going to want to leave this English building. So I anticipate our English scores even going higher and higher. So we're very excited again, and on behalf of our students, every single student will walk this building. We're housing our 10th and half of the 11th grade class to the first floor, and all of our seniors in the second story, and half of our juniors as well. So they're very excited, and hope to see everyone soon. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Williams Ballesteros. So we would like again to thank the community of Calexico for passing Measure B bond, which has allowed for the modernization of projects at Calexico High School, as well as building of the new classrooms. We look forward to celebrating with you, our community, the completion of future projects that will help improve the facilities for our students and our community for generations to come. We will now do the ribbon cutting, and we will have the Board of Trustees, please, if you can make your way to the back of the ribbon. Because of the spacing, we'll only have the trustees do the ribbon cutting. So we will now go ahead and move forward and do the tour of the 16 classroom building. And from there, we'll do the tour. We have John Dominguez, he is our project manager for Calexico Unified School District, and Jim Sanders, the architect also, that's been working with Calexico Unified School District. So both of them are going to be giving us a tour. When it comes to the site
everything that's going on. They are closest to the experts. And so if there's questions, we just definitely be able to answer those. Able to answer them as well. All right, Fred, go ahead. Very much. Yeah.
Tomorrow, start anything here?
Come in. Come in.
So this classroom is what we want to show the natural lighting. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this classroom has two components of the natural lighting. The first being the traditional windows. Now those are 1-inch thick glazed windows, so they're thermally broken, so they don't allow any or a very minimal amount of heat transfer in, but yet allow the natural lighting. They also provide a beautiful view of the new improved parking lot there on this side, and then of course, if you had a classroom on the other side, there'd be windows over there that would overlook the no-name field and the pool project. The second component is what's called solar daylighting tubes, and these are on a damper. There's a switch right here, and so if you'll notice there, what you thought was a light, that's actually natural light. And so the instructor can turn off those lights, turn off the LED lights in the classroom, and then you'll be able to see here. We'll open these up, and with the windows and these solar daylighting tubes, it's almost sufficient to have class in here just with the natural lighting. So it's a proven known fact that students perform better under natural lighting. And so on the first floor here, we have the windows and also the solar daylighting tubes to provide that natural lighting.
Just the general ambiance of the lighting in here, you can feel that right there. And then when you dim your lights, how it changes the whole character of the room. So Jimmy's get on about student learning and how lighting affects that. The other thing we have here is full capability of audio-visual in this classroom. All the classrooms will have these monitors like this. Teachers will have the ability to project onto that monitor, and that's complements of the programming that IT helps the school district with. Okay. Any questions?
On this table picture.
Yeah, they do. Yep. All the furniture is adjustable.
And right now the maintenance staff has the table set up for what we call a collaborative style learning environment. But these same tables can be broken down and put in more of the traditional stand and deliver lecture environment too. And it can change, during from one period to another. So these tables were selected so that there was many options for the instructor to be able to teach with.
Yeah, and if you look around the classroom, when it comes to instruction itself, it lends itself perfectly for collaboration. So you see a whiteboard on, the south side, you see on the north side, you see whiteboards that can move around, and then you see whiteboards, on the east side as well of the classroom. Not only that, but you have a TV that can be also screen that can be very interactive. So when it comes to instruction, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking to be able to have a room where students can roam and collaboratively be able to learn together. And then when you look at the spacing and the desk and how they're arranged, it also brings up the collaboration as well. So this room and this building as a whole has been well thought out, and for the purpose of making sure that when we're looking at learning environments, they are the best that we can, bring to our students. And so I think the added, I'm going to say, into this whole thing is the lighting as well, which you saw is just incredible, right? That you can actually have the feeling of sun rays coming in, which just, I think you all felt kind of a little different when the, sunlight rays came in, just very warm, very, very peaceful. And so I think that's the goal, right, in trying to create these learning environments, which are ones that our students are going to be able to feel comfortable with and going to be able to engage with.
So classrooms of the 21st century and beyond, this is what we're modeling here. One last feature here is the tablet here will control the audio-visual capabilities by the teacher in the classroom. The desks are all designed for the return to be this way versus against the wall. And that all comes with coordination of how you put these classrooms together.
Yeah, I'd like to also point out the control that the district's going to have for school safety. So you'll notice that when you walk down these corridors and on the outside of the buildings, you'll see the surveillance cameras. Then in addition, you'll see that each one of these doors has what's called a card access lock. And so the students will have badges or a credential that will open and close these doors by using their credentials. So they'll always be able to know who's come in and out of those doors. And then in the event that there is ever an emergency or a lockdown, they have several methods that they can lock down. If an instructor wants to lock down their individual classroom, well, they just take that same fob and they present it on the inside of the door here, and it locks the outside, both doors. So you present it at this door, both doors locked, or in the event that there's a school-wide emergency or even a district-wide emergency, every lock that has, or every door that has these card access locks immediately goes into lock mode. So you'll notice that when you walk in the building, the doors at the ends of the corridors, and then the individual classroom doors at this building, and then also over at B1 that we'll show you, they all have these card access or smart locks. Very nice safety feature of your school.
What's the capacity of the room?
I'm sorry?
The capacity, the size of the room?
So it depends on what the teacher contracts are basically, but this classroom, the state allowable, not the allowable, but what the state is, what they say is 27 for high school, 25 for middle school.
On this sanitary emergency, how many students will you put in this room if you start to have actual classes here?
If there's an emergency, the kids will have, and this is where the principal will work together with staff to determine the evacuation plan. And so they'll either use this staircase to go down from this side over, or some other mechanism. But there is going to be evacuation plan in place, so they know where the emergency will be and where they go to.
Yeah, but the question was, how many students will you put in if you open the school?
Okay.
Oh, in this classroom?
Yeah,
Right,
for
so
during the emergency right now.
Oh,
Or the
you're-
COVID emergency.
okay. Oh, I see what, okay, I see. I thought you were talking about size of the room. So
Yeah.
size of the room, it's about 900 and,
It's a little larger than 960 square feet.
okay.
Yeah, the
So
state
that's
has
Slightly
a,
oversized classroom.
Yeah, so
right, these are all oversized.
Yeah, so that's one part. That's where I thought you were asking the size of the classroom. So in regards to how many students we can put in here, it's 34. And 34 is contractually what we have agreed to with the union. So in regards to the other question that you have in regards to an emergency, so, and in order for me to answer that one, I have to kind of give you more information. So right now, as we are all aware, we're in the purple stage, right? Which is stage 1, which we cannot reopen schools at this time. So when we move from the purple stage, stage 1, to the red stage, stage 2, then at that point, we will be able to reopen, but we will be reopening whenever that happens at 25%. So if you look at a classroom of 34 max, and then you're looking at 25%, you really don't want to go over 12 kids. I mean, start off real small. So what we're anticipating of doing whenever we get to that stage is slowly reopening at 25%. So you wouldn't have 34 students in here at the beginning. You'd start off with about 12, and then gradually we would be increasing as we move further along in the stage. So does that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, it makes sense and looks sufficient the space you have here for that amount of people.
Fire drill. Is that the same thing as the escape drill? Do we have a sound?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep. Well, fire alarmed, and there is an alarm in each classroom and on the outside of the buildings, along with speakers on the outside of the buildings also.
Inside
Yep.
too there. Inside also we have
Inside
the
also
speakers.
here where the clock is. Okay. During the pandemic, we have the faucets. We've asked, so the district will turn those off, the drinking fountains. But the district came in and installed the hand wash stations over here on the walls. Okay.
In addition, I think, John, the district invested in one-to-one device for students, so this building completely modernized, updated.
Correct.
The bandwidth.
That's right.
All students that be online.
Yes, that's correct.
And
Yep.
and Eddie is our tech guy. He can talk to you more about fiber lines and capacity and bandwidth. I know he's holding the camera, but if you want to add to that, Eddie.
We have a connection of 10 gig of bandwidth to this building, and we have 2 access points per classroom. So that will be plenty to support a one-to-one environment in the classroom.
So when we talk about ensuring that we're ready for 21st century, it's making sure that technology, we can handle the bandwidth, right, and the capacity. And so as a district, thanks to the Board of Trustees, we are at a one-to-one device district-wide. So when you have that type of device with our students, you need to make sure you have the capacity to be able to have that much internet connection. And so IT, Mr. Pettis and his team are just amazing. So when they look at the building, and I know that as it was being built, they had incredible input to make sure that the infrastructure was in place to be able to both house the wired and the wireless access as well, for as much capacity as we need. Good question.
So all this was very collaborative with the school district and the committee to help us get the colors coordinated with the furniture, the carpet. It was all signed off by the principal and the district. So this was a collaborative effort to pull all this together.
So we're going to walk you down so that way you can get a feel for the hallway, and then you can get a feel for some of the other classrooms areas. All right.
So we'll have security in this facility also. We'll have security camera here. They have yet to be installed. Okay. And then let's go down here. So I'll show you. We can show you another class if you'd like. It's pretty much modeling the same class and the same here.
So I think the only thing different on this classroom compared to the one that you were just in is just the view, right? This has a beautiful view of what will be the renovated no-name field, and as you get down to the east end of the building, you'll be able to see a shot of the pool also. Where's the beach? I'm sitting That would be Heber Beach, they say, right?
I can add, Ms. Williams made some comments in regards to who this facility was going to be used by. So I'll let her go into a little bit more of it.
And I was excited to hear those conversations with them. Even some, no, I want here, I want there, can we have more boards? And so at the end, the English department came to an agreement, and this is the result, and this is the help of project manager and architect and everyone else, M&L team. You see here the result of our teachers' input and feedback. Then moving now to the instructional piece, we decided that this building would be perfect to house our 16 English teachers. It's just exactly the number of teachers that we have, grades 10, 11, and 12. And then throughout the year, we engage in the conversation as, who's gonna get what classroom, classroom assignments. Now that furniture, the logistics of the classroom was discussed and agreed upon, is who's going to get what classroom. And after much discussion with the teachers, discussion with my administrative team, because the teacher comes from a certain perspective, we come from the perspective of supervision as well. How do we supervise a 2-story building that hasn't happened before, and this will be new for us. And so in that combination of different lenses, so we decided that all of our seniors would have the privilege to be in the 2nd story. It is a privilege just to be inside the building, but as you can see, being up here, the view is beautiful. And so we agree again that our seniors would have access to the 2nd floor, and those would be their classrooms. And so having said that, we have 2 of our students here, and the last more unofficial visit we had other students, and some of them are seniors and some of them are juniors, and they were already talking about bulletin boards and decoration and how they want to see this 12th grade senior hallway to look like, and that they're talking about it's going to be a privilege to be a senior and be up here. I also heard conversations, it's also going to be, they're going to be the role models for the sophomores in the 1st floor as they're getting to class, like, hey, let's go to class. So we all thought about those things, do we mix them up? There were conversations about, well, do we mix them up, throughout the whole building, 10, 11, and 12. And so there were advantages and disadvantages to that. There were also advantages and disadvantages to the model that we chose. And primarily was, that being a senior is a privilege, being a senior is also fun in this building, and the seniors will take ownership of that hall that you see out here. And decorated, senior news and senior bulletins and so forth. So we're really excited. Really excited. We have a junior and a senior with us, so we're really excited for us.
You guys wanted to make a comment?
Oh yeah, honestly, this is probably really good. Everything looks really cool and beautiful to see, and it's really cool to see this happen to the high school, especially since it seems that the high school's needed a lot of change for years and years to come now. And it's really exciting for me to see my little brother's gonna end up coming here and have a better experience than I did, and seeing newer stuff.
Yeah, it's really exciting. I remember when I first came, I didn't really want to be here, but now as times happen, I've seen that I do want to be here. This is the school that I want to be in. Just looking at the building, it motivates, like you mentioned, that Ms. Williams mentioned, that it motivates students to, just be in class, and it pretty much does. The infrastructure does have a big impact on how students are able to participate or be in class, or how they act in class. And I think this is gonna affect, especially me. I feel like the area especially is gonna affect me personally with how my education. And I feel like this is gonna actually motivate me more, or make me more safe and more at home.
Can I get your names?
I'm Gregory Flores, and this is Angel de Dios.
Thank you.
I want to add one last thing. And part of our vision, of the details, again, the experts handle the infrastructure, but part of the details and the conversation and the details was we want to create a college-like feeling in any and all the renovations that we've had here at Calexico High School. That's always we initiate, we facilitate, and we lead the team into that discussion in creating a college atmosphere. We feel instructionally we're there, and we always have room to grow in terms of our instruction. But in terms of the details and how everything's going to look in the library, at Warfield, and the gym as well, and all the renovations, we always start looking even at pictures for colleges. Is what can we mirror from a college-like environment to give students that feeling that there are young adults, our kids. When I came over to the high school 6 years ago, I was just, and I still am, our kids are really amazing, responsible young adults, and they do amazing things here at the high school. They behave like college kids. we can really trust our ASB kids with, they do amazing setups for assemblies and events that I'm just like, wow, they are professionals with technology, with events, with assemblies, with athletic events, with academic events. And so, of course, then, you know, when we get the opportunity to renovate something, to paint something, it's always, how is this gonna look? How is this gonna give that feeling of a college-like, you know, school? And so I hope that we have accomplished that. I feel they did, and thanks to all of you who were part of this project. But I wanted to share that's always been part of the discussion and our vision when it comes to renovation. How can we make it feel, you know, that kids are walking into a college-like, focused and a school that is focused on getting them to college.
And I just want to add one more thing too about school facilities and teacher retention. One of the things, I remember being a teacher and I taught for 17 years in a high school up in Northern California. This back here, the storage, was one of our biggest needs when we were teaching in any subject matter. So you've got plenty of storage here, and you also have a great facility which breeds teacher retention. It's so nice to be able to come to your own room, your homeroom, and not have to push around a cart from classroom to classroom. So good job. This is really something.
I want to add, I had a teacher who told me, she's been telling me, she's giving me the date. Like, I'm going to retire at the end of this school year. She's been telling me for 2-3 years. And then with this whole pandemic, she's even, you know, the beginning of the year, she's like, for sure, this has been a difficult year. You need to plan for me, you know, for my replacement. And probably about 3-4 weeks ago, when we first had access and took some pictures, and I called her and I said, you have no idea, this looks amazing. She said, you know what, I think I may stay for 2 more.
Nice.
She did tell me that. And I said, and I thought she was joking. Are you sure? She said, well, you know, yeah. And she said, no, you know what? Just the pictures. I'm so excited for a kid. I want to be there a full year.
Yeah.
You know, I can't go in June and only enjoy this with my students for 2-3 months. She said, for sure, I'm coming back next year. And if I love it, I'm thinking 2 more years. Yeah. And I wasn't ready. I'm a grandma and all these things, but for sure, she said, I can't leave and not enjoy this with her students. So absolutely about retention.
Yeah, these are the kind of things that Mr. Sanders and myself like to hear. That's great. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Gregory, Angel. Thank you so much for. Any other questions from anybody in the press? Then we go ahead and move on.
Okay, great. Good.
Comfortable?
It's nice to know that. We're going to go down so you get the feel.
So Eduardo's gonna discuss some of the IT that went into here. Here's the.
So pretty much this is our data room, and we have a data room in each of the floors. So each of the data rooms supports the 10 gig connection, and pretty much it provides the connectivity for each of the floors, for the speakers, the cameras, PA system and access points for the connectivity for the
And
room.
only they have the key.
Well, we have the keys for,
They have the keys
yeah,
not to anybody else but them.
and yeah.
Yeah, security-wise.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
What are the size of the monitors that you have in the classroom?
86 inch.
86 inch.
So through this door back here, and the flooring is, they're working on the flooring right now, but through this door is a teacher workroom. So each one of these classrooms, 2 classrooms share a workroom. Okay?
So again, when you talk about collaboration, it's not only the collaboration for students and the instruction and learning, but it's also the collaboration between teachers. So all the classrooms, like Mr. Levine has mentioned, they're connected to a office space where teachers will be able to work together. And so that's the beauty of, again, the collaboration component, right? That we're not just looking at the instruction and learning, but it's also for the teachers as well.
So you can see the symmetry of each one of these classrooms.
Add a little bit to what Mr. Gonzalez said in terms of collaboration. One of the things that was discussed, and we also felt that's another plus for assigning the classrooms by grade level. You know, the 10th graders in the bottom first floor with half of the juniors, is that when it's passing time, I can't wait. You know, we want to see all of our teachers opening that door. I remember when I was a teacher for 8 years, that my door literally opened and the teacher next to me was a history teacher and I was a history teacher. Our doors were literally next to each other. And as a first year teacher rookie, I would talk to Mr. Edwards all the time during those 5 minutes. He's like, what are you doing this? Are you doing that? So that collaboration even comes in those 5 minutes when teachers are standing at the door with their doors open and across the hall or the neighbor next to them, or hold on, I'm gonna go right here to the classroom next to my classroom, you know, teacher X is right there, I'm gonna ask him a quick question. Especially if you are a brand new first year teacher, that is really helpful. That's a lot of support. Those 5 minutes, believe me, I remember having great conversations and learning a lot from Mr. Edwards, who was a more experienced teacher, and he was my neighbor for 8 doors. So when we discussed that and I shared that with the team, they said, yes, for sure, because that's what we do right in front of us. All that department in front of us, or all those 7 classrooms, they open in the science building as well, they open their doors, and you know, it's another opportunity for them to make contact with each other. So collaborate and share and exchange handouts.
Thank you, Ms. Rose, for sharing that. Any other questions? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna walk you out through the building, showing you the circle drive, and Mr. Levine is gonna point out some things. And then what we're gonna do is walk you to the culinary kitchen that's also been modernized with Measure V bond funds. And Chef Nunez is gonna give you a personal tour of the culinary arts facility. And so that is going to blow you away. Like I mentioned, it is an amazing state-of-the-art facility. I'm gonna say one of the best in the state. But you gotta see for yourself so you can appreciate, you know, how amazing it is. So, Mr. Levine?
Before we go out here, I want to just mention that reuse of space is an important concept when it comes to form follows function. That's something that Jimmy is very, very good at. Form follows function, and the other part of it is when we say use of space, reuse of space, functional space. I try to tell my wife that all the time. She doesn't get it, right? She just wants to do something different. Well, it has to be functional. So let's go out here and check this out. This is really something. In here is all brand new lighting. It's also, we're going to have security cameras on the lighting, and then we also have a billboard coming. It's right now we're getting the bids for the not billboard, but for the digital sign. and it's going to be placed up there about where that truck is on the inside of the planter box. Understand that it's a triangular sign, so you can see it coming this direction, coming out, and then coming that direction also. So it's a three-sided sign, okay? Jim, you want to talk a little bit about the engineering that went into this?
Yeah, so one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to preserve the tradition of the students walking up through this main entrance gate here, but at the same time provide a very nice functional parking lot. So you'll notice that there's a very safe pedestrian pathway to come in from this main entrance gate all the way up through the campus. There's a rise of 6 inches there on the pedestrian pathway, and then you'll see the bollards there. And what it does is it creates a very because of the proper drainage and concrete.
Yeah, stay down this way and we'll walk. And there's a couple things that really help to save money. And in this project, we were able to do zero skate and also create these bioswales here, which allows the runoff water to permeate through back into the groundwater. School districts and any other public agency or anything over an acre basically has to have a SWIPI. It's a stormwater prevention plan. So anything that leaves the site has to be treated before it goes off. If we create areas of bioswale like we have here, it's not a requirement to have that SWIP. You still have to have a SWIP, but you got to talk about how you're going to keep all of this on site. So this has been a big saver for us also. Okay? This is the entrance right now, the new entrance to the school.
So thank you for being here. And I want to give you a small tour of my I keep calling it mine, but Culinary Arts new facility. This has been one of my dreams from 13 years ago when I started here, and finally here it's a reality. And at the end of the day, I think after all these years, the Calexico students, Calexico community is going to have finally a facility where kids, where our students can really advance in this pathway. There's been a lot of interest in the few past years that there's a waiting list of about 650 students trying to get into the class. Now that we have this facility, we're probably going to double that number. I don't know what we're going to do about getting everybody through here, but I'm really proud to be part of this, and I want to thank everybody that was involved into making this possible. But my job this morning here, I'm going to show you what the facility is going to do for our students on the everyday class day. Okay, so where we are right now, this is a lecture room. This is not actually the production kitchen. This is where the students are sitting on this in front of me here, the benches and the tables, and they're going to be looking at a demonstration, cooking demonstration. When we have state-of-the-art equipment here, I was telling someone earlier that I used to tell students, okay, imagine that we have a griddle like this, or a broiler, or a plancha like this, all in front of you guys. And then imagine that this is what we're going to do. Now, we're going to start imagining, and we're going to actually do it. So, I'm going to demo everything here, and they're going to be watching on a couple of giant screen TVs right here on the side, where that blue tape sat. So, one and then another one on this side. and they're gonna be so close. It's just like standing right here in front of this camera. This is what they're gonna see. So every step of the way, they're gonna be ingredient after ingredient, process after process, repeating it. So this is gonna be something that all of the students are gonna get. There's no way they can miss a thing, right? And so on this small kitchen here, I have stove tops, I have broiler, and I have the famous clam chop. And there's a state-of-the-art oven down here. This one is a convection oven. It's a very delicate oven that maintains a temperature and an airflow in there. They're so delicate, but then yet strong, keeps everything in its original form. So you can have perfect souffle, you have perfect cupcakes in there. Like, we're talking about industry high end. This oven right here is excellent for cooking those delicate desserts. Okay? And so if you have a delicate dessert that you want to keep for a competition, for instance, or you want to showcase it the next day, cool it down in this glass chiller. This is another piece of equipment that I'm really proud that we have it. It has a lot of functions, but one of them is cooling things down really quick. This is like, I keep saying this is like a microwave in reverse. Instead of heating up really quick, it cools down everything really quick. So that's a big part of food safety. We want to bring the temperature out of the danger zone really quick. So we can cool it down in this black chiller and then safely store it here overnight or for the next 5 days or 7 days safely. So we can have projects one day, save it for the next day, complete them, and so on and so on. So students can have that continuation of projects without putting anyone in danger as far as food safety and sanitation. We also have the old fashion of cooling everything down, which is the ice machine here. We used to have our classroom here, and we always need ice for a lot of applications in cooking. And we all we're depending on a gymnasium right about half a mile away from here. So we had that back and forth running to the gym for ice. Now we have it here available 24/7. And so this whole section here it has a individual exhaust system, which is automatic. The controls are over here, so it's independent from anything else. So for instance, if I turn this on, automatically the sensors on this exhaust will read it, it will turn on according to the temperature that we have going here. So it's like a multi-speed fan that extracts all the excess temperature, and it does it at its own rate. Low temperature, low speed, high temperature, high speed. And it maintains only this area right here with certain temperature, and then outside this area, we have the AC, the room temperature. So state-of-the-art. We also have some storage space around this area. And as I was mentioning to someone this morning, the people in charge, architects and everyone involved, always took my advice on some equipment, some of the site. And they actually went overboard and exceeded my expectations, really. This little section here is really nice and cool. And it also has something that I didn't ask for, but it's here. Down here, there's lights. So if you want to show off really good at night, you can be cooking, and there's some lights that come on night. Forget where the light switch is on. But you have like, those, I feel like, I'm driving a lowrider. The lights brighter than deep there. So it's really cool. And It's quick, functional, and it's great. So this is the lecture room. This is going to be one of my favorite spots for students. This is the first, this is when you see the first reaction of students. Wow, we're actually doing this. And I enjoy that relationship between students and teachers, where this is where you really get it. You get them engaged, get their attention, and then they get to do it themselves on their next section here. Tell you a little bit about the students' practice stations here. There's 3 exact same stations here. This is like having their own little station where they can experiment and they get creative. So demonstrations over there, they actually come in here and repeat it. They have stovetop and they have this open-ended oven where you can have a lot of applications, fun applications for kids. Like, nachos. Can you believe that? You can do nachos in like 2 minutes. We can also use this for other applications, like Mexican cuisine has a lot of that. In a Mexican restaurant, every dish that you get goes through here. You know, without milk, cheese, and hot plates. So it's something that they can be trained on. Also, stove tops and ingredient compartments here, and it has a water faucet that goes all over 360 all around, so they don't have to travel back and forth to use the water source. So it's right here, and it has also all around storage space for tools, utensils, and so the students can actually focus on what they're doing on their station without going anywhere else for tools or ingredients, because they're going to have the bells running on this station. And we have 3 of them exactly the same. And this one right here is a computer that has access for
children with disabilities. Children with disabilities. Children with disabilities. Children with disabilities.
Yeah, with children with disabilities. Physical disabilities. So they can actually reach on even on a wheelchair. Right? And so this is the station. We have 3 of them. And so the bakery. Bakery is one of my favorites too. It has a lot of really cool toys. We have a dining mixer right here, and all the information pertinent to that before you even touch it, right? So we have a mixer, and mixers, of course, you know, they're for mixing your dough and all the bakery cream mixes, batters, and everything else. Now, once you have your dough and everything else, you have a specialty item here. And these 2 pieces of equipment came from Italy. You know, I just found out a few days ago. I was researching it. So this one is a cheater. It makes your bread flat. Different applications. You can make croissants. You can roll your pasta here, and you can roll your pizza dough. If you have a roll of dough, perfect roll of dough, it makes it into a perfect pizza crust, right? And where you get this perfect round ball of dough right here. This is a dough bowler. Cut it in equal parts right here. Bring it down here, and it'll do this action here where you have perfect weight, perfect size, and perfect shape. And then you just roll it, and then, you know, we go and make our pizza. And to get it, you guys want to move over to this way? We have, this is one of my favorite spaces right here. I feel like a celebrity chef in the middle of this place. This is what you see on TV. You have a perfect old school setting of a bakery. this scale is sometimes we forget. Tell my students we forget the science of baking. We see recipes nowadays and everything, a cup of this, a cup of the other. And in actuality, industry does not use cups. They go by weight. And this is how they do it. The old-fashioned way, the scales, just the weight scales. And of course, for our students, we do have the technology of digital scales, right? But it's good to know that we have everything available so we can teach the basics, right? So this table here, underneath we have all the bakery ingredients, flours, sugar, name it, and all the equipment right here. So out of this equipment here, you can put out any type of baking products, from cookies to breads to rolls, pizza, pastries, all kinds of different applications. You have all the equipment, you have the space, and then you have the ovens to finish the product. And we have the storage. We have refrigerators and freezers to keep everything from one day to the next. So again, one of the advantages of having a facility like this is that we can custom our classes and separate them in 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, even a week. So the different process, when in the past we had to do everything the same day, because we didn't have storage, we didn't have the space, we didn't have the equipment. So we were kind of shortchanging our students. Now they can have the whole cooking experience and then repeat it as needed, right? So this is the bakery, and it also bakery has a couple of features over here. There's a couple of state-of-the-art proofers. If you can see them down here, it's like a small warmer that has a perfect storm in there and adjusts temperature and humidity to have the reaction of yeast in them cut in half. So proofing our breads in there, and then also storing it. We have another rolling rack. This is the refrigerator. So once you have your product completed, you want to keep it, you want to store it, you want to take it home, you have in the event, everything safely stored in the refrigerator. Safe temperature. Okay. So the other section over here is Gardner J. Gardner J is the basically the cold plate preparation area. So all your vegetables, all your lettuce, all your cold ingredients come through these two areas right here. It has a couple of special sinks where you wash everything, where you process everything, and then from here it goes to the actual main kitchen, what we're going to see here in a minute. And as you can see now, enough space for students to safely work with cutting boards, which are cold-coated over here, and also enough room for utensils to safely store, like knives and sharp utensils, so they can all work safely. Now, on this side of the room over here, this is the pride and joy of this place. This is the main kitchen, the hot line. This is where everything happens. This is where, basically, as a culinary arts student, this is basically where you graduate. This is when you really demonstrate all the skills that you learned during those 2 years. And this kitchen has also all the good, nice, state-of-the-art toys. We have a fryer, state-of-the-art, where basically you program this fryer to do whatever you need it to do. I keep telling the students, like McDonald's I mean, if you work at McDonald's, all you do is just put your product in there, and it'll tell you when it's done. And basically, this is what it does. You program the time for your cooking, and then you also program the machine if you want to walk away from it. It'll turn off itself, it'll cool down, and it'll recycle the oil. It'll clean it for you. You have to know how to program it, and that's what we're going to be doing. But this is a really wonderful piece of equipment. It comes with a warmer right next to it, so when your product is done, you bring it up here, and again, that helps that food safety aspect of it. Keep hot foods hot, cold food cold. So just food safety sanitation at its best. We also have a couple other pieces of equipment. We have a rice steamer. We have a 48-inch griddle. This is where, if we have an event of in the past, I remember in the old teacher's lounge, we used to take our small electric pans to cater for Teacher's Day or Teacher's Appreciation Day. We were doing pancakes on the small griddle, one at a time. We can do 20 at a time now on this one right here, and safely keep it warm and send it to where it needs to go. 4-chuck burner, conventional oven. So this is kind of like the old-fashioned. This is where everybody has at home, just the oven where you can throw in your turkeys for Thanksgiving, where you can do your long cooking, long and slow, they say. So you can use those ovens for that. We also have a tilting pot here for your soups. We do 20 gallons at a time and safely operate it. This is something that not your average kitchen has, especially in the Culinary Arts High School. So Calexico should be proud of everything that we have here. I've been getting phone calls from my advisors all over the state, asking me if they can come visit. I said, yeah, whenever it's possible after this COVID-19 situation, yeah, everybody's welcome to come visit. They want to take this layout and go to their districts and of course get one just like this. So also we have another oven, just like the ones you saw at the entrance there, with the same safety features, the same function, steam and dry heat. This is one of the best in the industry right now. This is what everybody's using. And we also have the conventional one, 2-stack oven. These are also convection oven, which all the air is circulating all around. This is for high production. You can cook, you can bake and produce food here up to 600 plates per hour. Okay, and we also have the front of the line here, where students can showcase their food and actually keep it safe at a safe temperature here with these heat lamps that go up and down depending on your needs. Right? Adjustable. And this is one of the most exciting parts for a student when they complete a dish and they can actually showcase it safely without getting cold and everything. So when you have someone come and taste it, you're actually tasting something that is professionally produced and presented. Okay? And of course, the line here, adding more safety to our food production, we have refrigerated boxes down below. This is where all the ingredients are kept while they're doing the cooking. Again, food safety. The number one feature, actually in this kitchen, everything is kept at the temperature that it's supposed to be kept. We also have a small freezer here. It's part of the kitchen line. And of course, everything that I've been telling you produces something, a byproduct called dirty pots, dirty dishes, and everything else. And that gets taken care of over here in front of the line. We have state-of-the-art, high temperature dishwasher. And it's pretty safe to use. All you do is put everything on the tray, put it into the dishwasher, bring the lid down, and out it comes. And everything's done safely for students and also for the customer or for the whole class. Everything is sanitized with hot water. And also, we have a 3-compartment sink, an industrial 3-compartment sink, where students will be trained on the storage of washing and sanitizing of all the equipment that we use here. Everything you see here would be through that sanitation process. And we also have storage here. And if you come with me over to this side, another part, I mean, everything I would say is my favorite, but this is kind of like my favorite, is that we have a couple of walk-in refrigerators, or a refrigerator in the freezer. And basically, you know, I like to have one of these at home. This is an excellent storage kept at a temperature, again, for safety, food safety and sanitation, everything off the ground. Huge capacity. Our freezer, refrigerator, walk-in, and also we have a dry storage that has a big capacity in there. So, and we also have our laundry room here as well for aprons and checkbooks for students. And this is the office right here. And the office, of course, I'll never use it. I'll always be out here. But it has like 360-degree view. I mean, you can see every part of the room out of that office, which is really, really cool. The facility already has a food permit, right? So that we can utilize it for food service at any given time. And I don't know if you guys have any questions before me.
Julio, is there anything else you need to help you with?
Any questions
Yes.
for Chet?
Yes.
What's the square footage on the walk-in washer freezer fridge?
What was that?
The square footage on
The square footage, I think, is
Jimmy, do you remember the square footage? I don't.
On the,
I think
Fridge.
the freezer, I believe it's 200 square feet, both for the freezer and the cooler, yeah. Okay.
200, so that's 100 a piece, 100 square feet a piece.
Yes.
200 square feet.
I believe they're 10 by 10.
To make sense, yeah. And the beauty of those two places there, the refrigerator and freezer, is that now we can accept donations from local farmers and local businesses and actually store it and actually use it correctly. In the past, we didn't have the capacity, so I was offered, in fact, I had farmers bring in crumbs and it would have to be given away. And so that's not the idea. The idea is that we get these local farmers to donate and actually utilize them and practice with them. Because this costs are pretty expensive when it comes to supplies. We're teaching students how to slice carrots. 125 students, 125 carrots, you do that 10 times a day. Practice, that's a lot of carrots. And so now we have that capacity of, and there's a lot of local farmers willing to donate, and now we have the source space. Go ahead and do that.
In this building, part of the program was a seismic upgrade of this facility. And so the Division of the State Architect and the State Facilities Program has a facilities hardship program, which allows for funding for projects with the 50-50 match, the state, when they have a facility like this that's going to undergo a modernization. And when it undergoes modernization, we put it through the program, and the state will then concur that yes, it needs seismic upgrades if you're going to touch the building. And so certainly they supported it, they approved it, and so you see some of the structural improvements here, seismic, are these structures right here. These didn't exist before. And so you'll see this facility throughout here, all these walls here are all part of the seismic upgrade of the building.
Thank you, John. Any other questions for Jeff or John? So with that, just like to thank everybody who has been with us throughout the inauguration of the 16 classroom building, and also to be able to tour the culinary arts facility. And so just want to thank the community. Thank you for your support in passing Measure B. This is the result of that trust. And so again, there's been a lot of promises that have been made regarding Measure B, and I think this is a testament today of how it's been delivered. We're so excited for our students, for our staff. What a legacy that this is leaving for our community. And again, I just want to thank you for coming on to our very first ever virtual tour. And so